Hi guys, welcome to this new venture of ours. Yes, we're here to discuss about something more serious, something that which we never followed. We've never been serious.
Completely new era for
Yeah.
us.
Okay, now let's just get into it.
Okay. Intro.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about our Indian education system.
Nice joke.
I'm serious. We're going
The
to be talking
joke is
about
the education system or him talking about it? Or him in usual?
No, the education system.
So many jokes here.
Yeah. But no, come on. No, there are some.
Okay, let's actually talk about it before.
Yeah.
So we are going to be talking about the pros, the cons, everything possible about it. Okay, so our Indian education, it includes anything from preschool till you doing your master's degree, your PhD, anything done in India. So obviously there has been a lot of criticism about it, saying that in Indian education is not good. Again, everybody have their own opinions and everybody are free to have their own opinions. So we have been a part of this Indian education for some time.
Yes, certainly.
So so that's what. So first, honestly, as I told that the Indian education system may have a lot of critics, but there are a lot of good things about it also.
Yeah, certainly.
So now our education.
This is the first episode, innit?
Yes, this is our first episode.
And we'll have multiple episodes of
Hey,
education
don't
system.
jinx it like that.
Okay, man. Let's get cancelled, innit?
Okay, let's get into the
Serious?
topic. So our Indian education system is honestly a bit advanced, I feel, compared to many other countries. 'Cause as I told, I'm a Canadian. I've come from Canada. I've studied in Canada, and I've seen.
For like first and second.
No, I'm from my
Who was learning trigonometry in first grade?
From preschool till first standard, I have been there, and in first standard, I used to sit and learn ABCD. What are you doing in first and second
Hey,
standard?
no, for real though.
ABC in the first standard?
Yeah.
No, we learned it in
Hey,
LKG.
my brother is in LKG. He's already learning 3-letter words, 4-letter words.
Exactly my point.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're not learning ABC.
Yeah, I was.
That is what I'm saying. That's the whole point. Our Indian education system is comparatively more advanced. Because when I was in first standard, I was studying in Canada.
Oh, okay,
and I was still learning ABC.
Oh, like
It was-
that. Oh, right.
So because of this reason itself, that was the reason we moved to India in the first place. Because my mother felt that
You be smart.
that
in
maybe
India.
you need the
Okay, I
Indian
can't see
education
that.
system. Again, they have also studied here, so they also know all that stuff.
see that.
There it is more, they kind of test your moral sciences, and we used to have one period to sit and play violin.
Yeah.
Go to the
yes.
library.
You've talked about this.
Yeah, we'll go to the park and we'll play. I'm not saying that is not necessary. That also may be necessary.
You guys had a park
Yeah, we had a park. It was a pretty big school.
No, we also have
in
a
a
park.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a park in a school.
Are you mad?
Even in India also you have school parks.
Have you
and
not
schools.
seen our
Isn't that
blog?
called playground? Oh, okay.
So
Point
as
made.
I was saying, our Indian system may be a bit more advanced. And honestly, if you see in the big companies outside India, you can see that our Indians may have a higher
Yeah.
ability to get jobs.
Exactly.
It's again, this may be a bit contradicting. Also, it also may be because of the labor cost in India, because
True.
our population is high and we can. It's easier for them to hire.
2 billion.
No, but if you look, the recent census that was taken in US, I think I've talked about this before. Yeah, they took a census and they found out Indian Americans earn 50 or I think 60% more on an average than Americans living there. So I saw data that showed Indians earn $123,000 on an average in the US.
No, but don't you think that would have anything to do with the amount of Indian population there and the amount of American population? Because the higher the number, the average, like if you have like a lot of Americans who are at a $30,000, $40,000
Exactly.
average, and few of them up, so the overall average will still be stuck at 60.
So whatever it is, however, yeah, I understand your point, but even if that's the case, that means that Indians take up the high paid jobs than the Americans.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have seen many big companies,
Exactly.
CEOs, directors like whether it's Sundar Pichai for Google, Satya Nadella for Microsoft, Kiran Mazumdar for Biocon, Narayan Murthy. I mean, obviously he's Indian. It's Indian still, company, but he has started a huge company, Infosys.
He started out of 10,000 rupees, and then he built a billion. Now recently they've got a 5-year contract for $5 billion.
I have $1 billion idea. Let's get a garage, get some money. We will be another mind-blowing people who came from the garage. You know.
That would not be a suggestion made to all small children. Not everybody can
drop
become
out
somebody.
Of school because all legends are.
You're the wrong influence.
Thanks, man.
one in a million, one in a billion become a Sachin Tendulkar and a Bill Gates.
Not like we shouldn't take risks. We should, but
calculated risks.
Unless you don't have a proper, fully fledged plan and everything, you can't just blindly go and pitch in 1 million. Even if you're rich, you can't just put in 7 crore rupees and expect your turnover to be like what? Yeah,
you can just because you need to have an idea also, not just the resources to do so.
Just something like what we did in the past. We didn't have any idea what we were doing. For no, I'm just saying.
Proper reference.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much currently stuck in that position.
Hey, don't do that.
Guys.
We will get somewhere.
Guys.
I'm very sure.
Guys.
What I was trying to say is that so even when like I'll tell you a small story. When my dad had worked in UK for like 2 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
So we had gone there. We were planning to shift there. This was during my 8th or 9th maybe.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we were planning to shift there. So we were looking for schools over there for me. So then they had tested my math over there. So then again, from 2nd till that whatever 8th or 9th, I was studying over here only.
Yeah.
So when we had gone to the school over there, and they were giving me a few questions, and I asked them like, "Are you seriously asking me this?" They asked me
1 plus 1.
Like, hey yo, we got a child prodigy.
Count the number of balls.
It was really like 5th standard, 6th standard, like basic probability, like what heads and tails
John has
probability.
200
You were in 8th, 9th.
8th or 9th, one of that age that time. So then they asked me, okay, then what do you know? And then I was telling that, okay, we do correlation in school and we do mathematical regression.
This all sounds new to me because he was ICSE, right? And I was in CBSE, and I feel like ICSE at that point of time
was far
more, no, I wouldn't say advanced, but ahead. We also learned, but we learned it later. That's the thing. They learned it earlier.
Yeah, again, that also, the differences also obviously will be there. So that's what I was saying. So then they were like that, okay, you're currently studying at the level that probably our 11th and 12th students will be currently studying. And you're in 9th
so
standard.
Tiny there, everyone's just going to be like 6'3", like, hey, kid.
Just because you're short
We're
doesn't
not-
mean
Guys.
We are not done with it. Why are you always deviating? You're not coming.
So that's what. So that is. So honestly, I feel that our Indian education system
Yeah,
is
definitely
well
fine.
ahead.
Yeah.
And as I was telling over there again, I don't know about when you go higher class. I mean, higher mean as in like the 2nd to 5th that age standards and all. I don't know how they teach, but again, there is a lot of they give you activities and those kind of stuff. And in India, it is purely about curricular activities like your studies. So it also, I feel, gives the ability for students to grasp a lot of information in a short period of time. Because we have school like 8 hours, 9 hours a day, and we learn 6-7 subjects in one day with hardly 45 minutes, 1 hour break for the whole day.
Yeah.
So okay, it sometimes may be too stressful for the mind, but it's still sometimes difficult things will give you good results.
It does.
So you have the capacity to learn things quicker and learn a lot of things in a short period of time. So
The question is, does that help though? Like,
see, that's what it depends on person to person. If you think that somebody who may not have the grasping power, like I honestly, for a person, I feel I can grasp pretty quickly. I don't know whether it's because of studying here or maybe I naturally had that ability.
No, I get it.
So because of that, you can sit in school like, okay, you teach me history 1 hour, and the next hour if the math teacher comes and tells, I feel I can adjust. But maybe some people may not have that capacity.
Yeah.
So for them, it may not be a suitable education system. But if you see overall, it may not be a really, really bad thing. Okay, obviously pressure will be that they'll give you assignments and projects and do this report and all come, and you'll have like 10 things to do at home, sitting at home.
Yeah.
That okay, obviously everything has its good things and bad things.
Definitely.
Nothing can have only one way.
But we can say that we are ahead.
Yeah, we are definitely ahead because that's what I was saying. I remember one day seeing on the news that people in foreign countries are complaining, saying that Indians are coming and stealing our jobs. Because the way they're able to.
Not our fault, guys.
That happens in every country.
Yeah, that's all. And if
Can't help
I'm
it.
not sure if I'm right, but even like US was cutting out the visas for
Oh, yeah,
Indians
they were.
because they were losing their jobs.
H1B business, yeah.
So that's all. I mean, okay, I understand from their point of view that they're losing jobs, but again, you cannot blame our Indians for having a more advanced system and
Get
for knowing
smarter,
what
guys.
Smart.
Get smart. Just get
accept
smart.
Yeah, so like just with the fact that we are ahead like
Yeah.
intellectually doesn't mean we should be like not getting jobs.
Yeah.
So I think now we have spoken.
Yeah, we can definitely say that we're well ahead. I think that's the conclusion of what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, but one thing which I would say is they do put a lot of pressure on us.
It does comes at a cost. Everything comes at a cost.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot of pressure. I agree. Talk about pressure. I feel like the competition and everything in India, especially like till 10th, you would face a certain amount of competition. I don't want to, bifurcate between North India and South India, but if I have to say, I feel like the South India, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm just saying, like, I'm taking on a personal level how I studied, right? If I have to say, I had a pretty stable, I had a good school, I can say that. I had a good school till 10th. Even after 10th, I did.
No, see, I think one more thing is when you're in 10th, you're still a bit young. That competition and that pressure,
Yeah.
that spirit itself doesn't come in a school.
Yeah,
You get
exactly.
Friends, go
So,
play. And
I'll tell you, I think I could.
It's not the same for us.
No.
Oh, we are 10th, right? But it's not the same.
no, are you telling me that your entire school life you were sitting and thinking, oh my god, board exams are coming, we've got to do, and you don't talk to your friends?
I weren't, but that's how the teachers made us think, you know.
They'll make you think towards the end, but like, see, now for me,
They
the end of my
started the
college-
lesson with, okay, so your board exams are this year, kids. You guys have to prepare.
You think, see,
That's the thing.
no, see, you think board exams are big, but I never thought that when I was writing my semester exam would be big, but I felt that was bigger than my board exam because that 2 weeks or so I won't talk to any of my friends.
Yeah.
You'll just be sit and sit. There'll be so much to do. You study and then you go write exam, come back. Then 2 weeks later you'll call. Hey, what are you doing now?
Yeah, I know. No, there is pressure. I'm not saying there isn't pressure till 10th. There is. And let me tell you my story, okay? So what happened was I joined in a school in Bangalore, which was, I would say it was in a rural area. So the amount of people who came in there were less. Like the competition in my school was less. So what my parents did was, what they tried to do was so that I come to that level, because they saw that my school didn't have that level, they put me in a coaching institute so that I get used to the competition, and when I step out into the real world, which is probably 11th and 12th, I am used to that competition. I don't feel like, oh, okay, this is new and everything, but I feel like in other places.
No, you told that you go to this institute and all.
Yeah.
But like I also heard that there's some place called like Kota or something where people.
Kota. Oh, that place is haunted, man. No, especially because when I was in a coaching institute, and most of these IIT or NEET coaching centers, they all originated from Kota, right? So there was this. It was probably like 80 to 70 years ago. This Kota is usually it was an industrial area in Rajasthan. It is an industrial area in Rajasthan, but now it is basically an industry for students. Yeah, like they're producing IITians and AIMS. Yeah.
So I mean, then what do you mean by spooky? Why can't everybody go?
Yeah,
there?
no. So I'll get to that part. So it is pretty spooky because.
Let the bro go with the flow.
No, so what usually happens is, now in my case, right, I had a pretty good coaching institute here, which the coaching institute I studied in originated from Kota, and most of these institutions originated from Kota that primarily focused on career building, like IIT. It's mostly IIT and JEE, but now they have various other aspects. But it started with JEE and medical entrance exams, right? So what usually happens is, usually this majority of the students come from UP and Bihar region, because there were kids don't have financially stable. Their families couldn't afford good schools till 10th. So if you look at their scores till 10th in Bihar and UP, average, it's usually around 65% and 70%, okay? But all these kids, they eventually make it to IIT. When kids who got 95% in 10th and 12th, they don't get into IIT. So what they do is, they send their kids from Bihar and UP mostly. After their 10th is finished, they send them to Kota, so that, expecting they get good coaching and everything, and affordable, a little more. I wouldn't say it's very cheap also, but it's more affordable than what they can get in other metro cities like that. So that's how it all started, right? So many kids, especially from those two states, that's where the trend started. And then eventually from everywhere people started to go there, because so many IITians and they started showing good results, right? Because they focused only on that. They focused only on JEE and medicine. Exactly. So what happens here is, they focus on
the school.
Their school. So that's another thing. That's another thing. There you don't have to focus on school. You just have to focus only on coaching centers. So here what happens is, we have to
focus on what school.
We have to. Exactly.
Multiple aspects.
That's so, because they had a primary goal, they started showing good results. But what happened with that was an enormous amount of pressure. That's what came with it, right? So much pressure. Seeing, even if now suppose we three, right, the three of us go to Kota and we are studying for JEE, right? Now there are another 100 group of students in our class. Imagine we are all studying together in the same class, and we are all writing an internal test, like a weekly test, right? And we get our scores. Now I did bad, you did average, you also did average. I would feel bad. It's the first test, okay? I'm like, okay, fine. But there are 100 other students also. So my rank would be like what, 50, 60? And you guys will get some 30, 40, and you will get something like that above. I definitely feel bad, right? But that's just the first internal test. But then the next internal test comes. There are weekly tests, right? So every week you'll get a test. And what they do is, people who perform good, they promote them to another batch, saying they're A star batch. Like if I'm in the A batch, there is an A star batch for. I'll feel left behind, and I'll be like, what am I?
What you're doing
and
wrong.
also you're staying away from your parents and your friends and everything. So you don't have a lot of emotional. You don't have. So all of that usually results. Even recently, one of my friends, what happened was, he was studying for NEET. First year, he was in Bangalore. First time he couldn't clear NEET. He got a pretty, I don't know, it was decent score, but it wasn't good enough to get a government seat. And medicine seat in India is very costly. Like it'll go around 20 to 40 lakhs. So I had a friend in my old school, right? He was 1 year elder to me. So what happened was, till he was an average student. I wouldn't say extremely bright, but he wasn't bad also. He used to do well. And what he did was, after 10th, I think he joined one of these Chaitanya, right? So usually, I know.
It is a deadly school.
It is. I mean, it helps. I wouldn't say it doesn't help.
It gives results, but
It does.
The price it takes.
it's
There is a there is
Sunday,
pressure.
Sunday school and all
So see, this is the reaction I'm getting from you guys for Chaitanya. Imagine what would be going down there in Kota, right? This is 100 times more than what goes on here. So what he did was, so I think he wrote NEET. He was trying to get a medicine seat. And getting a medicine seat in India isn't very easy. There are, I think this year 20 lakh students wrote, and there are about 70,000 seats, government seats for medicine. Right? Yeah, I'm one of them, guys. Even I wrote. I tried. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, whatever. But so he wrote last year. And he tried. Right? He tried. He was in Chaitanya, and he tried. He didn't do pretty well. He could have gotten a seat, but it would be a private college, which costs shit ton of money, right? That's like 40-50 lakhs we are talking for 5 years. No, that's actually less. It goes on to 1.25 to 2 crores for 5 years.
I paid 1.5 lakhs for my 3 years of degree.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, so medicine costs a lot in India. So because of that, people usually aim for government seats, which cost way lesser. So to get that, people go to Kota, and you know what they do. So he did that. So he tried. I mean, he didn't do that for the first year. First year he studied in Bangalore, and he didn't get a good score. So he thought he would try again, because I think it mostly came from his elder brother. He was also a doctor, so probably that he had that, in his he had that in his mind. So he didn't get. So he was pretty he was like determined to get a medicine seat, a government seat. He would definitely get a medicine seat, but a government seat, that is the difference. So what he did, or I don't know if his parents, but I've seen his parents, and they're not that, they don't force their kids into anything. They're pretty stable financially, so they don't force their kids to do anything. But he was a determined, he used to be a good leader in our school and everything. So his attitude was like, if he wants something, he definitely wants to get it, right? His attitude was that. And if he doesn't, he'd get pretty upset. So medicine, he really wanted that. He wanted the seat, especially after his brother got one. So he went to Kota. He decided to go to Kota, and he was living with a group of friends, away from his parents and everything. And this year he wrote again. What he did was, because institutions there, that's how they train kids, right? They write exams. This was just another exam. They write exams, they come home, check results. Like, they immediately go check the answer key and check how much they got, and they look how to improve themselves. But this was neat. This was the final exam. What he did was, he wrote his exam, he came back home, he checked the answer key, I think the next day, Monday. Like, if Sunday was the exam, Monday morning he checked the answer key, which was released already. And he understood that he didn't get a good score. And then pretty bad things happened after that. He had to, he jumped off of the 10th floor. In the apartment, and he was leaving. So what I'm trying to tell is, that's the amount of, and this is just not one case. There are already 10 to 20 cases just in Kota in this year, 2023. So imagine the amount of pressure the kids face there, which is definitely a downside to what we could say that we are ahead, but it does come at a price. It definitely comes at a price. And there are a lot of other aspects too, which we will be talking about. But it was I was pretty shook.
Yeah, that is the thing I was saying. Yeah, we may be advanced, but as you told, at a price. Maybe in other countries, they may not be learning faster than us or more advanced than us, but maybe in a better state of mind.
Yeah, definitely.
That might be a case. So, the whole point of them going to Kota is because of to beat the competition.
It is, exactly. That is to get over the competition.
Because ideally, if you think of yourself who's sitting and studying in Bangalore and a person at Kota, won't you also think that the person over there might succeed more?
Obviously. The chances of them getting a higher score is much higher. Because
that's what, like, this competition is what, like, brings so many negative aspects of the Indian education system. Like the competitiveness is so high that even getting 90% is low these days. Is that bad right now? It's that bad.
I wouldn't disagree to that.
Yeah, see, that's how bad, okay? And people no longer rely solely on schools. Like, schools are place for education. They're like, no. Now we're getting tuitions. People go to like 6 tuitions in one day. So like, I want more marks, so I have to pay more money, get
I
tuitions.
don't think it's about the students, it's more about the parents forcing the students with these many tuitions. I remember few people and all,
It's like,
they'll send them to, okay, you go Hindi tuition, go math tuition, go that tuition, this tuition. The
Yeah.
parents kind of...
See, that comes from their upbringing also. We should understand why they do that, right? So they mostly this upper or middle class. I would say middle class. Parents, the parents, how they were brought up was certainly different. We are fortunate enough to get better facilities than they had, which is why they want us to make better use of it.
But what do you think, like tuitions are bad? I mean, the way you're telling it.
I see, tuitions help, okay? I'm not like, so this is based on like how he said, right? Like the education, like how parents were brought up. They came from solely education, right? They didn't rely on anything. From schools, they got good marks, then they went to college, got good marks, then got a good job. And this was all because of education. So they think like education will help you get a better future, a brighter future, right? So they're like, okay, now if the marks of every student is increasing, they want their kid to also get good marks, better future. So they put them into tuitions, with or without their will.
So you're not saying like only student competition, there's also parent competition.
Yes, there is. Like, and then there's just things like, if he can get better marks than you and you both have the same teacher, why can't you get the marks, right? This kind of comparison also comes in, right? It comes in and you're like, you don't know. Maybe the other kid is better understanding than you are. But that see, that's not the point made here. Like, you have to understand each kid. People have different ways of understanding things, right?
They have different capabilities is what it's trying to say.
Yes, but you can't just force everything into a kid and like absorb it. I don't care how you absorb it, you're absorbing it and you're writing it in the exam. That's really bad. But tuitions also help in economy, I guess. See, chances.
Obviously it does help, like for people who may not have the understanding capability, who cannot like just do it in school. But it's also not about that, it can also be about practice. Like when I and all came back from school, I used to never sit and study at home. I'll come home, throw the bat, take the bat and just run out of the house.
Those were the days.
So maybe like parents forcing us into tuition is a way of practicing and before exams.
Like a routine.
Yeah, like
building
a
up a routine. No, also when it comes to higher grades, like lower grades and all, they can sit with you and teach you stuff, parents. But when you come to eventually 8th, 9th, 10th and all, they don't get the time to sit with us and teach us trigonometry. Those are stuff they might probably not remember because they might have specialized in something else.
And even they may not have enough time because you're not learning 3-digit addition and all.
That's what.
So it will take like 10 minutes, 20 minutes to teach. But trigonometry, you've got to teach your child, it will take some time.
Exactly. So
But one more thing is these tuitions. Now, since everyone is relying solely on tuitions, they're going to start just taking out your bank account, just getting in that cash. That's very true. Okay, come on. And people are still willing to pay for it. Because that's how much they know, like, we need that marks, And like people go to school for what? Education. But now, why is school referred to education?
That, right? It has become a trend. Like, tuitions have set a trend saying if now, like, they've started telling us that if you don't come to us, you might probably not do well. Like that it has become. So seeing that, they're sending us to tuition centers, and that is a bad thing, what tuition centers are doing, right? Especially, I don't want to name tuition centers, but there are certain tuition centers which they come off as,
if we are not there,
you're probably gonna, end up in a bad place. That's how they publicize themselves. So because of that, that's where you talk about exploiting, and they cost a lot too. It's not many can afford.
Yeah.
But I mean, this competition also works in good ways, man. Like it helps each. Like, oh, he can get the marks, I can get the same marks too. I have to work harder. That's it. This kind of works. But like 1% of the kids in the same class have that mentality. Rest are like, oh, he gets so much marks. I'm a loser. I'm a loser in life. I can't do anything in life.
Really?
That happens, man. You don't know the amount of friends I've had who just come up to me and say that, even though they got 90% and a girl got like 100. And they're like, oh man, what am I doing in life? Why am I here?
What more can I get?
I've had people
Like,
complain.
maybe I feel nowadays that thing has changed. Like there are obviously some people, like as you said, they have the mentality that okay, my friend is doing okay, we'll work together and we'll get better together. But I also feel that there are some people like nowadays in this generation they feel like studying is a sin. Like you go ask somebody, have you studied? Like, Maga, are you not studying? Naanella odalla maga. And then, like, okay, what is wrong in studying? It's not a sin that you have studied for your exam. You have an exam, you have studied and come. That's not bad.
No, wait.
But you go to anybody and you tell, hey, have you done? No, only one chapter I did. I don't know what I will
okay,
do.
so that's what you're trying to tell. Like they'll tell they haven't, but they actually did.
No, say whether they might have or not, but they are ashamed of the fact that they have studied.
Okay.
Like odirtiya
No, that's some weird things. That's like few people just like, oh, think studying is bad. I have to look cool in front of the other kids.
Exactly.
Let me be cool with the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Let me get arrested for doing something cool and then have my name posted in the walls. This kid is so cool, bro. Let me invite him to my party.
Is that wrong? That I don't understand why that comes off as cool stuff to do. Like doing drugs isn't cool, guys.
Yes.
Smoking isn't cool.
It's too expensive, man.
Whoa.
It's too expensive, guys.
That's not the right point.
Please do not listen to him. He's giving the right message at a very long read.
That's all part of the school, But this competition, man, it's not helping in a lot of ways.
More because of like people think that everything rely on your marks in school. Like honestly, your 10th marks, it doesn't matter until after you get your like your school or whatever for 11th. After that, nobody asks. Now the time I finished my degree now, and nobody even cared to ask what's my 10th or 12th marks. Even when applying for a job, okay, they ask my current college aggregate and they ask me questions, but they don't care how much I've scored in 10th or 12th. It's more like just a question they have to ask.
But wouldn't you have your resume and everything, right?
Yeah.
CV and everything.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it affect your like when you write in your CV? Now suppose there is like if it comes out to be less, I'm not taking as your example. I'm just saying an example.
I'm
Like
85, shut up.
okay. So your CV has a less mark in 12th. You put both 10th and 12th or only 12th?
You put all of your education from 10th and there onwards. You basically put
So you put 10th and 12th and it comes out as less marks. Wouldn't that affect in like the selection process for interviews and everything?
No, honestly, it does not. It is generally based on the college aggregate. In fact, they don't even pick your resumes. They don't even look at your resumes. They screen first, then only look at your resumes. Because obviously in a college, you think 100 students are going to apply? No. 1,000, 2,000 students are going to apply. So they will screen based on their current or college aggregate. And then those screened students, they pick them. And then they see the resumes.
No, like they're not gonna look at your 10th marks because you didn't learn like very important job specific skills in 10th, did you? They're not gonna be like, oh, he scored low in 10th, he probably got very low in history. We can't get him into this job now, even though this job is mainly based on computer. Since he got low in SST or something, his entire marks got low. You know what? Let's not hire him. Yeah, let's just let his talent go to waste.
Exactly.
And then also these days, like you said, marks is everything in school. They don't come to school with a new topic saying, so here's a fun fact about the topic. They come in, okay, so this is how you write the topic in a way. The person who's checking your exam gives you more marks. It's based on marks, not the fact that you're learning something new. It's like learning something new is like a byproduct, and you're going to school is just for those marks you're gonna get in the life. Like that's it.
Yeah, that is right. Completely true.
Yeah, that's the point. Very well made. I would never disagree to that. No, but it does. I mean, it is a byproduct after all. Like improving yourself is the byproduct. But yeah, it does comes at, as I said before, it comes at a cost.
Yes, yeah. Also, you don't go and sit in class, so as you told, to learn something new. Oh, today they're teaching us something. Oh, this will be useful for us, or it might be interesting. No, can I score marks? Oh no, I don't like this chapter. Skip it.
Even in schools, teachers, they use this approach. They're like, okay, this is gonna come in your exams. Let's learn this. Yeah, that shouldn't be the approach.
That's exactly what they do. Yeah. What? Oh, so like that's it. They just took out the fun and excitement, in learning something new. Like there were times when you actually had fun going to school, be like, oh, we're going to learn something cool today. And now these days, like, the math teacher's still present today, guys. We have to do math, guys. That's the excitement is completely gone. It's just like, oh, we're just going to school. Oh, we learned something. No, we just did things where we had to get more marks.
Yeah.
Oops, I got lesser marks. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's all we have for you guys in this episode, and we are definitely not done with this topic. We have more to talk about, pros, cons, everything. So we will get back to you guys next time.